So my name is Stella Mambo. I'm the director in charge of the Global Markets Division.
My name is Mwihaki Wachira. I'm the Director of Marketing and Corporate Affairs at Absa Bank Kenya.
My name is Elizabeth Wasuna, Business Banking Director at Absa Bank.
My name is Mombi Kahindo. I'm the Chief People Officer at Absa Bank Kenya. A journey for gender equality is a marathon. It's a journey that's Absa Kenya started a long time ago and continues to implement on its commitments. We've made significant strides in the last few years. Our talent acquisition, how many women we hire into the organization, our career development for our colleagues, our female colleagues in the organization, our commitment to grow women, our commitment to develop successors for key strategic leadership roles. While we are not where we want to be, because our aspiration is actually to get at the senior levels to be 50-50. Today we are sitting at 47%.
Gender balance is an interesting question. And when I reflect around what Absa has done, I think I want to recommend our CEO and Managing Director, Abdi Mohammed. He has actually been on the far front. If you look at how the mix between the ExCo team, ladies and the gentlemen, I've actually seen a good mix.
If we look at today's population, 50% of it still remains women. And therefore, our journey to the top remains one that needs to be very intentional. When we come into leadership space, we still suffer a lot of social, cultural issues, which are really deeply ingrained. Leadership, for instance, is normally looked at as a man's area. So we need to be intentional about letting women take up leadership positions.
When my announcement as the incoming director for marketing and corporate affairs for Absa Bank Kenya was made, a male counterpart in the industry made a comment to the effect, Mwihaki was hired because she's a woman. So this person discounted my years of experience, my skill set, my professional qualifications, all the work I've done over the last 20 years to build my name and to build my resume in this particular industry. And the bias there is the person just made an assumption that, Absa hired her because she's a woman. I was hired by Absa Bank Kenya because I'm qualified, I'm competent. I just also happen to be a woman.
Gender bias speaks to things that people do sometimes intentionally, but more so unintentionally. When we leave school, for instance, and go into college, women are still almost 50-50. But when we come into the workspaces, especially in areas where they're male-dominated, we still find ourselves being elbowed out. So the question is, how do we make sure that when they go into those classes and they leave those courses, we give them opportunities to rise to the top?
There's a potential where you find a woman in the same level with a same gentleman. You find a woman is slightly paid less. So how do you then bring that equality to ensure that there's not that gap between a lady or a man who are doing the same role and potentially have the same skills? Even better, the lady could have more experience in the same space. I think that's quite important.
Inherently, we are coming from a place that we have not been conscious about how many challenges women face before they can grow. Women generally feel that there are certain roles that are earmarked for certain genders.
Women get disadvantaged between the ages maybe of 25 to 35 or around 40 years because that's a time then they get additional responsibilities, either through raising children, taking time off to go have the children, raise the children, getting married, taking care of extended family, etc. And so that, whilst that's happening for the woman, the man's career is progressing.
One of my last senior hires within my management team was a female leader who came in. She was expectant. And within 6 months, she had to go on maternity leave. So as soon as she finished her probation, she was away and gone. And that tells you pregnancy is not a disease. Pregnancy is life. An expectant mother will perform. In fact, I was very impressed by this particular individual in my team because never once did they ever use being expectant as an excuse not to deliver.
It is a fact that expectant women are viewed as a liability. I think more or less now than it was, but I'll give a personal experience from 19 years ago when I went to get my first child. And the company I was working for, which was a below-the-line marketing agency, actually told me to take time off more or less a retrenchment because they felt a man would be better placed to take on the job because it involved longer hours, working with brands that require you to be in the field at night or early mornings. And so that was their rationale.
If people ask me, what are you doing yourself in your little space? One, we've been very clear around giving everybody an equal chance. So when we have opportunities in the work environment, we put up the advertisement and we give both the ladies and the gentlemen an equal opportunity. Any job that a man does, a woman can do even potentially better.
As a young girl growing up, there was never a question around which race I can't run, what jobs I can't do. That was how our parents brought us up. And I would say this both for my brothers and sisters. So my brothers would go to the kitchen without an issue. There was no question about whether they were able to serve. So that is the intentionality about parenting. And I say this because when girls are given that firm foundation to say that they can be able to stand and do things that traditionally perhaps are viewed as male, it gives them the confidence to step up.
How do I encourage both male and female colleagues identify this need of ensuring that every gender is represented in the organization? So this is not a drive to just make women be more. That's not what this is. We are not trying to make more women be in leadership positions or take up. That's not what it is. It's making sure that we are representing.
I think it's also important for women to realize when you take up leadership roles, as much as you're not technical expertise, I think you need to have a good landscape around the area that you're serving. You've got to really understand it well. So then you can command a lot of respect also to your peers. I think that's quite important. And also it just helps you in terms of how to navigate and manage the risks that come with it.
I don't know why people think that women are not happy, by being able to articulate their ideas. For instance, when we're being very clear about what we want, we're looked at being aggressive. But from a man's perspective, it's leadership. And therefore, the connotation about me being unhappy or a woman being unhappy comes up. Women are happy. We are happy to do the work that's put before us. I think our only challenge is give us the support.
I don't think women in leadership are the least happy. Certainly I'm not. If how much I laugh and smile is anything to go by, then I don't think I'm unhappy. But maybe to dial back a bit and again remember, especially in Kenya, we are coming off a very what I'd call patriarchal society.
I think one of the things you have to do for yourself as a leader is to find the purpose for which you are a leader. And if your purpose is aligned to what you're doing, then you derive joy.
I think women are most happy when they're in leadership position. I think the very first point is that they're human beings and they come as whole. And then, they also bring their self if you're kind to them. Women bring what we call a transformational leadership styles. They don't look at things in one lens. And that's why we said we can actually multitask.
My commitment to women and girls is to continue mentoring and coaching. But then the challenge for me to them is be prepared for feedback. Be prepared for tough feedback, because the truth is the environment is not one where we can go and assume we will be less than capable, less than being able to show up in the best possible way.
What I'm committing to do at Absa Bank Kenya to ensure that there's no gender bias in the marketing and corporate affairs department is to keenly listen and to hear what each and every member of the team, irrespective of not just gender, but age, qualifications, has to bring to the table.
If I were a star in my movie and my family and friends were watching, I hope that they will be cheering because they are encouraging me to take the next step, encouraging me not to fear, not to be afraid, but to actually step up and take up that challenge that's ahead of me. That's what I think they would be screaming about.
From a banking perspective, I'm sure they'll be saying, show me the money, show me the money. But at the same time, be driven and probably be saying, run as fast as you can. We want to catch up and surpass you because we see you're doing good things.
The audience at the theater, where I'm the main character, I think they would be looking back and telling me you've come so far and there's still so much runway left. You've done some amazing things and there's still so much more that you could do.
If I was a main character in a movie, the audience would be telling me, go for it, girl.